Welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I'm your host, Hamza Idris. In this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. And today, we will focus on the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Kano State ahead of this year's election. But before then, let's start with the tidbits of the day. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the 2023 Appropriation Bill and 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Bill into law. The National Assembly on Wednesday last week passed the 2023 Appropriation Bill of nearly 22 trillion naira as the aggregate expenditure for the fiscal year. The approved budget was jacked by 1.31 trillion naira, which was moved from the initial 20.1 trillion naira to 21.8 trillion naira. Also in the tidbits, presidential spokesman Garba Shehu has reacted to the open letter released by ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo endorsing the Labour Party's presidential candidate in the February election, Mr. Peter Obi. On Sunday, former President Obasanjo had taught through a 6-page open letter, appealed to the youth to ensure that they vote the right persons into various elective posts in February and March. Furthermore, Obasanjo attacked President Buhari, saying Nigeria is now worse than when he took over in 2015, and openly endorsed Obi, claiming that he has an edge over his other opponents. But Garba Shehu, in a lengthy press release posted on his verified Twitter account, said Obasanjo is morally squalid and therefore attacking leaders out of frustration. We are joined virtually by Dr. Suleiman Dambata, the factional deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Kano State. Welcome to the program, Doctor.
Thank you very much. But I'm not a factional deputy governor. I'm the deputy gubernatorial candidate that the so-called judgment of last week set us aside.
All right, good. I will address you as deputy gubernatorial candidate that was actually sacked alongside your candidate, Sadiq Wali, right?
Yes.
Good. Anyway, compliments of the season, Doctor.
Thank you very much, and compliment of the season to the media, trust, and all Nigerians.
Thank you. Viewers, we will go on a quick break now, and when we come back, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Doctor, I will start by seeking for your opinion on the letter written by former President Obasanjo to Nigerians that they should vote for Peter Obi of the Labour Party. Are you really disappointed that he did not endorse the candidate of your party, the PDP, or any other candidate but Peter Obi?
Actually, I want to start by congratulating all Nigerians for a very prosperous new year, 2023. The year that all Nigerians are going into the general election. And actually, I did not time to go through Obasanjo's to President Muhammadu Buhari, in which, as you have already said, he endorsed the candidature of Peter Obi. Well, you see, as Nigerians, everybody has his own opinion and the right to put anything into paper. So when our former leader, President Obasanjo, wrote and endorsed Peter Obi, I'm not going to be surprised because he has his own opinion and he can say whatever he wants to say as an elder statement. But be as it may, the truth of the matter is there is no other person, as far as this election is concerned, better than Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, taking into cognizance his experience And also he's well withered in terms of how he can come together and put Nigeria as one, especially bearing in mind the current situation where a lot of division, a lot of, opinion, counter opinion among Nigerians. Atiku Abubakar has seen it all. He's been there as vice president. He's been into the race not only once, twice. He has seen almost everything as far as the Nigerian political environment is concerned. So all the other candidates among other political platforms are mere only candidates seeking election into presidency for the first time. But Atiku is not a newcomer into this race. So that's why I said he has more experience and he has more backup experience and exposure as far as ruling Nigeria is concerned. So I clearly said that what Obasanjo said, he said it in his own opinion, his own language. So Nigerians will not be able to understand Obasanjo's language because, everyone of us has his own language. You can say whatever you want to say. The Constitution gave you the right to say your own opinion. Okay. So I don't blame Obasanjo for saying that. Rather, I respect his opinion as far as an individual and elder statement.
Okay, Doctor, but the opinion of these elder statesmen, I'm not actually referring to Obasanjo alone. It tends to sway the opinion of the general public. For instance, in 2015, Obasanjo actually took former President Jonathan to cleaners, and many thought that gave candidate Muhammadu Buhari an edge during that election. Don't you think history will repeat itself this time around?
I think history will not repeat itself because 2015 is not 2023. The permutations and circumstances that brought Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 is entirely different from what is going to bring Alhaji Atiku Abubakar by the will of God in 2023. 2015, there was a lot of issues that were very unfavorable to President Goodluck Jonathan at that time. You can look at that scenario of insecurity at that time, the height of Boko Haram, the refusal of the international community to endorse the candidature of Goodluck Jonathan, and of course taking bearing from where some of the Nigerians, so-called leaders, tried to ask Jonathan to serve only one term at that time. So you see, that's why I said the permutations and circumstances are entirely different. But now it's going to be a very smooth transition from Muhammadu Buhari, who served his second term in office, to a newly elected president of Nigeria, which by the will of God, we are expecting and we are going to ensure that President Atiku Abubakar steps in as the replacement of President Muhammadu Buhari.
All right. Thank you for your take on that. And President Buhari today signed into law the 2023 budget, even though the details are actually not out there, but nearly 20 trillion, right? Are you satisfied with it? And what are your expectations? Because this is election year, and the president hopefully is trying to actually accomplish so many things that he was unable to do in the last 7.5 years. What is your take on the budget?
Actually, as a former commissioner for economic planning and budget in the government of Kano State, and also a former advisor to the Minister of Finance, who is very well familiar with the fiscal document from the national level down to the subnational level, there is nothing quite very impressive as far as the document is concerned, because you see, sometimes the issue of revenue projection, where government projected revenue that it cannot be able to garner within the fiscal year, is quite very worrisome. So there is nothing, to my understanding, quite impressive as far as the budget is concerned, rather just maintaining the status quo of what has been happening from the time Muhammadu Buhari stepped in as president down the line. There was so much expectations from Nigerians when Muhammadu Buhari stepped in as president in 2015, bearing in mind, his antecedents as a military officer, as a governor, as a minister, and as head of state. So a lot of Nigerians expected more from Muhammadu Buhari, and for somebody, who has been battling to be president. But unfortunately, that expectation didn't materialize as far as Nigerian mind is concerned. Because what we are seeing today by APC government is quite disappointing. Not only talking from the opposition side of PDP, but I'm talking as an individual, as Yusuf. We are seeing quite a very disappointing Nigeria, where the presidency failed to accomplish a number of promises they made during the inauguration in 2015.
Yeah.
So the budget I'm seeing, because I used to follow the budget of government, not only from Muhammadu Buhari's time, even from during Jonathan era, Obasanjo and co and co. But what I've seen from the budget amendment of 2015 down to 2016 up to today, I did not see something, so impressive rather than maintaining the normal, or rather, let me use it, the normative ways of doing the budget. Yeah.
But
so there is nothing honestly impressive
for
as far as I'm concerned.
Doctor, you said something significant, that the expectation on Buhari was extremely high because he vied for this office about 3 times before he got it. And it's like he has the same trajectory with your candidate, Atiku Abubakar. How sure are we that when Atiku wins, he will make a difference?
That's exactly why I told you to this line, because I know the next question is going to be on this direction. You see, there are 2 distinct difference between Muhammadu Buhari as a person and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Okay. Muhammadu Buhari, as a former head of state, probably, to my understanding, refused to acclimatize the situation and update his diskette. Okay. While Atiku Abubakar, as an individual, keep updating his diskette. Because if you put Muhammadu Buhari on one side and put Atiku Abubakar on the other side and ask them, how do we reposition the economy of Nigeria? Listen to them. You will hear that Atiku Abubakar will give you facts and figures, not only obsolete facts. He will give you the current and updated facts, not only from the government side, even from the international community side, from the World Bank, IMF, and co and co. Because you see, 2 things happened with Muhammadu Buhari. Okay. When he stepped in as president, all what he needs to do is to now reposition and change the diskette of 1983. Because Nigeria 2015 at that time was not Nigeria of 1983 when he left office. At the same time, Atiku Abubakar, if you are talking to him now as a candidate, you will agree with me that Atiku Abubakar is talking to you as Atiku Abubakar of 2023, because he is talking the contemporary issues, the issues of today, not issues of yesterday. So that's why I'm saying this. If Atiku happens to be a Nigerian president, Nigeria will witness a president that is well conversant with the problem, a president that is well familiar with the situation, a president that is going to be the president for all Nigerians, irrespective of religion, tribe, ethnicity, and geographical location. Because all of these things are mere things that God put us together as Nigerians. Whether you are Yoruba, Igbo, Ibibi, or not, we are all Nigerians. And we have to imbibe ourselves. We have to respect our opinion, our culture, our tradition. So that's why we call Atiku Abubakar as a real unifier.
But Doctor, I still want to ask you this.
Somebody who is very mature.
Many people. We know many politicians who are holding positions of authority now, and even some of the candidates, they are extremely good in getting figures because they have people around them who give them these figures. There are some who have won governorship, but as soon as they got into office, they got confused, and they will even deny some of the figures they keep dishing out while campaigning for office.
Because they are using the figures to manipulate Nigerians. But in the case of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, take his antecedents as Vice President during Olusegun Obasanjo. Take, for example, the telecommunication reforms, where we are enjoying this Zoom meeting. Ordinarily, if Atiku Abubakar didn't stood at that time to ensure a very smooth transition as far as telecommunication industry is concerned, probably this Zoom meeting is not going to be held. Then the CBN issue, the CBN Act, the CBN whole Dutch auction system, then also coupled with the debt cancellation of Nigeria and many more, including the National Health Insurance Scheme and other, government programs that were being put in place during Obasanjo with implementation, capacity of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as the running mate and vice president at that time. You see, Atiku Abubakar is not a mere spare tire as such has been said by one presidential candidate. Atiku Abubakar is somebody who is well grounded as far as Nigerian problem is concerned.
There are still allegations that some of these claims, some of these achievements around Atiku and all that were actually family and friends still. The licenses and all that were given to family and friends. And even now, he has been saying he will privatize the NNPC, the refineries, and all that. Government has no business in running businesses and all that. This not actually not in tune with expectations of Nigerians.
I think these are mere additions, because if you said it's a friends and families, so I will challenge Nigerians to go and mention one particular instances as far as the telecommunication industry is concerned, or the issue of privatization of government-owned enterprises. You see, the global community has already moved on. I happens to be at IMF one time, and we did a research as far as government of Turkey is concerned at that time. And we realized that there is no reason and whatsoever for government to run certain enterprises. One of it is telecommunication. Another thing is, how can government run probably like aviation industry? When you go anywhere around the world, I believe you travel a lot. So when you go there, you see private enterprises are managing and running most of government businesses. So you see, Nigeria as a country, it has a lot of potentials for private sector to grow. And that's why when Atiku Abubakar said he's going to privatize refineries, so what is there? We have very obsolete refineries that are not functioning. Government are funding money, are pumping money into the refineries, and at the end of the day, the refinery will not work. The petroleum PMS will not be available to Nigerians. So what is the functionality or usage of that refinery as far as the global community is concerned? So there is no need for us to be managing and pumping resources into something that is not going to work and serve Nigerians. So when he said he's going to privatize refinery, he said he's going to privatize refinery to make it more commercial. And what he said in 2019. And by 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari-led government also commercialized NNPC. These are some of the strategies that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar put in place for a very long time to ensure that the oil empire in Nigeria is being commercialized so that it will now service Nigerians very well and effectively. Come to think of issue of subsidy.
Many Nigerians,
as Buhari said, who is subsidizing who? And eventually he comes to the realities that he's going to remove the subsidy.
Many Nigerians still remember the infamous heavy investment in the power sector when Atiku was the vice presidential candidate. Vice president of Nigeria during Obasanjo. Yeah, billions of dollars were actually expended in the power sector, and there was no result. And is this not an
I believe there is result, because if you look at the power stations across the country that put in place at that time, for example, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company was anchored and put in place by the PDP-led government under Obasanjo, under the same billions of dollars you are alleging. So you see, Nigerians sometimes don't see realities on ground.
Okay.
Project, from the conceiving of a project down to its planning, down to the execution, up to the overall planning, it takes stages. So what Obasanjo did, Obasanjo conceived power sector reform. Power sector reforms encompasses so many other things, not only limited to putting the power plant.
Okay.
The issue, even if you look at the NEPA, then was NEPA, turned to PHCL. Now it's been, you have Abuja Disco, you have Kano Disco, Kaduna, and co. You understand? So if you look at that, there are so many issues as far as a project is concerned. Project is just a bulk of the idea. That's the power sector reform. That's the name of the project. But under that power sector reforms, a lot of intervention schemes has been anchored. Go to the south, you will see so many independent power plants that has been put in place. Go to the middle belt, go to the north. Even here in Kano, we anchored a power plant in Kano. Had it been, there was no that power project reform under Olusegun Obasanjo as Atiku as vice president. What do you expect Nigerians will do? So it's for the government at that time to lay the foundation, to invite private sector into the business, to make sure that they unbundled, the entire power sector programs in Nigeria.
Okay, Dr. Dambata, I'm actually asking you these questions because you have ample knowledge on economics and all that. But there is this allegation that especially the power could not succeed the way it was envisioned, because Atiku, people around them, Obasanjo and all that actually sold some of these licenses and all that to their cronies who don't have the knowledge to drive the process to success. And maybe that is why Obasanjo is actually distancing himself from the aspiration of Atiku now. This is the final question on this.
Okay, I would be surprised if our leader, President Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president of Nigeria, always distanced himself from Atiku Abubakar. Obasanjo and Atiku Abubakar was a joint ticket in 1999.
Yeah.
So if it happens to be a joint ticket, president, vice president, probably whatever you are going to do it in active support and collaboration of your vice president. And that Atiku was a vice president that had not insubordinate Olusegun Obasanjo. He gave Obasanjo a very, very active support in terms of repositioning Nigeria. And I'm comfortable to say that all the mega and gigantic projects you are seeing today in Nigeria is being anchored and supported by Atiku Abubakar. Especially when Obasanjo and Atiku Abubakar took over the mantle of leadership in 1999 after the military era. Nigerians were not opportune to see a lot of reforms. For example, the Nigeria of 1999 and Nigeria of 2007 when Obasanjo left office is entirely different. That 8-year span, Nigeria witnessed a lot of reforms and programs. For example, if you look at the let me tilted towards public service reform.
Yeah, briefly.
Then I was a civil servant at that time.
Okay.
You see, what we did, there was this issue of public service reform. We call it right sizing. There was the issue of this computer knowledge for all civil servants, the issue of national health insurance scheme, the issue of training of manpower across Nigeria, and so many other programs, including the remuneration of public servants. Then come to think of the pension reform. Was all anchored by the PDP-led government under Olusegun Obasanjo and Atiku Abubakar.
Yeah.
These are just a small, just a tip of an iceberg that because of time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Talking about power,
of course, because
you
of
see,
time,
under
because
power,
there will have been
Atiku
many more
Abubakar and
questions
Olusegun Obasanjo has honestly done a lot for Nigerians as far as putting the policy in place, as far as bringing the idea, refocusing, and as far as power sector is concerned, because then we don't know how to even manage power. If you come to Kano, for example, go to area like Sheka or Kurna Asabe in Kano, where 100 houses are getting their power from probably one particular person. They don't pay fees. They don't pay any charges of that power. So one house that is paying their bill, another 100 are now subscribing and getting the power from illegal routes. But under that power sector reform, the issue of this new meter has been introduced. There's so many other things. You understand that now Nigerians are more enlightened. Nigerians are more conscious of how to manage and utilize power.
All right, thank you very much. I think we will have to stop on this so that we will not encroach into
power sector reform.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I think we will have to stop on this.
I'm not an engineer anyway. I'm just,
the topic of today. Of course, you have enormous knowledge on this. We will surely have you again. But back to the business of today. A federal high court has sacked you and the gubernatorial candidate of your own faction in court in Kano, Sadiq Wali. Now, where are you heading to, Doctor?
Well, already we had appealed at the appeal court, challenging the judgment of Justice A.M. Liman, which we are totally in disagreement with him, because you see, what Justice Liman did, ominously based on what we have seen, is not quite something that expected. But because we have witnessed a certain judgment from his own side, sometimes in May this year, last year, 2022, when he sacked our delegate, the authentic delegate that were meant to go and vote for our presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, that same judge sacked our delegate on Friday, just on the eve of the PDP presidential worried with this judgment. What we did, even before he pronounced his judgment, we have seen and saw the antecedents. So we put our records straight. We also file all our briefs and ensure that we approach the most senior courts, because we are law-abiding citizens. So we are not going to say, okay, because Federal High Court said we are no longer on the ticket, INEC should now recognize Mohammed Sani Abacha as the gubernatorial candidate. We say, okay, no problem. Let's go to appeal. We have over 50 grounds to challenge the judgment of Justice A. Newman of Federal High Court, Kano.
50 grounds?
Over 50. Over 50
just
grounds.
Give us like 3 or 4.
Okay. One of the grounds, first and foremost, importantly, is the constitution of PDP is very clear. Yeah. And I think for any PDP card carry member, the constitution is binding on all of us as PDP card carry member, for me, for my gubernatorial candidate, for Mohammed Abacha, and all other members of PDP, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So the mandate, a right to produce candidates through a valid primary election, is the sole responsibility of the National Executive Committee of that party.
Yeah.
Not only PDP, is for any other political party in Nigeria. The mandate to produce candidates is with National Executive. So the National Executive Committee of our party conducted primary election, which produces Muhammad Sadiq Wali through a valid electoral committee chaired by Chief Bumi Adu and other members.
Okay.
While on the other side, the other contender who is challenging our election, Mohammed Abacha, conducted his own primary election under the state chapter of the party. Okay. So that's what ground number one. Who is responsible to produce or conduct the primaries? The primaries lies with the party, and the party sent electoral committee to come and conduct that election.
Yeah.
9 aspirants purchased the nomination form, including my humble self. 7 of the aspirants decided and joined the national body to conduct their own primaries, while 2 aspirants decided to join state chapter that produces Mohammed Sani Abacha. So if I may say, let me take you a little bit backward. You see, in March 2022, when the former leader of PDP defected to the new formed NNPP, he left behind his state executive committee under the Sheikh Wada Sagagi. Then the national party PDP asked that state executives, if you are in tune with our philosophy and co, please streamline yourself with the PDP so that you cannot be having anti-party activities.
Yeah.
Konkoso left. Now you are in PDP. So if you are in PDP, then let's go as PDP family. But you cannot be in PDP and be dancing with the another party, NNPP. And that thing didn't go down well with the state executives. So PDP now sacked Sheikh Wada Sagagi-led state executive committee, which the decision didn't go down well with Sheikh Wada Sagagi. Yeah. He now approached the Federal High Court in Abuja under Justice Taiwo retired. And unfortunately, Justice Taiwo turned himself to another direction. He now granted all the prayers of State Executive Committee and returned Sheikh Sagagi as State Party Chairman. Well, and he gave us that mandate, and we respected the court order.
This is actually another serious issue that you are still battling with, and very interested. I will ask you to give us the second ground that you feel you will win when you get to appeal. But in the interim, we'll go on a short break, Doctor, and when we return... we'll go on a short break. When we return, I will give you room to give us the other 2 grounds. Yeah, thank you.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and you can follow our conversation using all our social media platforms and follow us live on YouTube. We are discussing with Dr. Suleiman Yusuf Dambata, the deputy gubernatorial candidate of the court-sacked PDP in Kano State. And before we went on break, I was asking him to give maybe 2 or 3 grounds why they feel they will have a case at the appeal court. So, Doctor, you explain one, the problems around the leadership that conducted the primaries that produced Mohamed Abacha. What is the second ground?
Okay, I made mention of the responsibility of the party to conduct and nominate a candidate to INEC.
Yeah.
And the second ground, we had an appeal judgment in our favor by the Kano State Appeal Court, where one of the aspirants that conducted their primaries alongside Mohamed Abacha tried to join our. And we felt that there is no reason for us to be joined because in the first place, we did not participate.
Okay.
And this is a constitutional provision of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, where a situation where if you did not participate in anything, so there is no for you to sue or join anybody in that matter, or for anybody to join you, because in the first place, we are not party to that. So that's the second ground. So we are not even party to the primary election under the state chapter.
Okay.
So we did not ask them to come and join us. So they sued us. So for what reason, while we didn't participate, had it been we participated, then we have a ground that we are part of that primary.
People cannot put something on nothing, if I understand what you are talking about.
Yes, we are not party to their primary election. So in the first place, they sued us. They said we have to be party to them.
Okay.
So you see, this is it's a very constitutional provision.
Okay.
You understand? Then the third, the judgment also read that state chapters has no right whatsoever to conduct and nominate candidate. And we now applied and asked Justice A.M. Liman to put that judgment into our document, which he did. Okay. We presented it before him, and he acknowledged. And of course, when he's delivering his judgment, he now turned his face from that judgment to something else. This is another is a ground, because when a most superior court has now delivered a judgment under your own case, a matter that is for you, you understand? Yeah. And now you decided not to listen to that judgment, on yourself on something. Then another ground is he made mention that he's now basing his argument on the fact that the PDP did refuse to now give 21 days notice.
Yeah.
So this 21 days notice, that was the basis of his judgment.
Yeah. But so you have some 21 days notice that.
21 days notice is not supposed to be given to state chapter.
Okay.
The PDP at the national level wrote a circular sent to INEC national, published in the media, both print and electronic media, that PDP is going to conduct XYZ as far as gubernatorial primaries, National Assembly, both Senate and Reps, State House of Assembly on so number of days. And same copies were sent to the state chapters through their resident commissioners.
Yeah.
And even when the committee was constituted, the chairman of the committee came along with a letter. One letter addressed to the chairman of Kano State, Sagagi, which court asked PDP to recognize Sagagi as the party chairman. And PDP complied by sending a letter to him intimating Sagagi that Mr. Bumi and other members are responsible to conduct the Kano State Gubernatorial Congress.
Yeah.
So Sagagi is expected to give them all the necessary support they may require. That was the content of the letter. The letter did not say Sagagi to organize and conduct the primaries. The letter was only asking Sagagi to provide support and comfort for the national electoral.
But Doctor, the Sagagi faction is also claiming that some officials from the national headquarters actually monitored their, primaries, which produce Abacha, and it is based on this that they were able to secure the backing of the judge.
That's absolutely not true, because on that very day, Mohamed Abacha was among the aspirants that we witnessed the meeting with the electoral committee at Al Mukaf Hotel, and they gave us all the directions plus how we are going to conduct the primaries, the venue, and everything. Mohamed Abacha was fully aware that the venue of the primary election is Sani Abacha Youth Center, not Lukat Avenue. And to our surprise, when we were there, we information that is there, Lukat Avenue, Jafar Sani Bello conducting their own parallel Congress. So what he said it in his own opinion, but that's not true. The truth of the matter is none of the electoral. That's the truth of the matter. Because I was there, and I know the panel. We were there with them from that time up to this, and Mohammed Sadiq Wali won the primary election. But you see, they all witnessed their election. They will not do that, but they will come to media and be talking like that.
Okay,
that's
Doctor, another judgment that favors Sagagi and Abacha faction is the case instituted by Jafar Bello, who actually went into the primaries with Abacha, but the court has also sacked that. Are you now going to work together with Jafar Bello and others in pursuing the retraction of the ticket given to Abacha, or you are on your own? Jafar maybe will also pursue his case separately.
Yeah, I made it very clear. In the botched primary election at Lugat Avenue, which is being conducted by the state chapter. So they are together. So as far as we are concerned, how can we join them?
So because they conducted their own.
What I'm saying, they conducted their own primaries. So even if the judge decided to throw away Jafar's case and said Mohammed is a duly elected, whatever, under the state chapter. So I don't have anything to say because I'm not party to that primary election.
Yeah.
What I'm party to is the primary election that produces Mohammed Sadiq Wali, that was being conducted by the national organ of the PDP. This is, if you are talking about that, then I'll be party to anything.
All right.
But as far as I'm concerned, he is a legitimate chairman of PDP in Kano. He's saying that Jafar's case instituted against Mohammed, that Mohammed is not a member of PDP. Then Justice Liman said, no. There is a blanket waiver given to the party, is being granted waivers, a gubernatorial screening committee, and so on and so forth. So that's the reason why Liman Jafar's case, and I believe he did the right thing by doing.
Okay, now another problem afflicting your party is this issue of caretaker thing. Alajimai Adamu, who is the supposed caretaker chairman, says Sagagi has refused to give up. And Sagagi is claiming that there is no letter written to him from the NWC to actually step aside and allow Alajimai Adamu to pilot the affairs of the party in Kano. Don't you think this is reducing the vigor in your party in the state?
Actually, not at all, because we knew and we are very much aware who are behind these antecedents. We are very much comfortable in PDP. We are very much comfortable. We are not very deterred by what Sagagi and co are doing. We have already anticipated that. We knew from day one. That's why PDP sacked Sagagi in the first place. And when he went to court court reinstated Sagagi under later retired Justice Taiwo, we complied. But now, Court of Appeal set aside the judgment of Justice Taiwo retired that brought Sagagi back. So if Sagagi is now ignorant of that judgment, I can produce a copy of the judgment to him, let him go through the judgment. Very clear.
But
what is the judgment? The judgment is that. It's very clear. When Taiwo said, for example, let me land.
Okay.
When Taiwo said PDP must comply and recognize Sheikh Wada late ESCO. Was there any written document sent to us to comply? No. We look at the judgment, we digest it, and we know the judgment is referring to us. So that caretaker at that time was set aside, was now terminated. And now we brought Sagagi back. Even during the conduct of the primaries, PDP had to write letter to Sagagi introducing the members and now ask Sagagi to give them support where necessary. That's how a good Samaritan is expected to do. Now there's a standing Court of Appeal judgment setting aside all the prayers, all the content of the judgment of Justice Taiwo retired, which Sagagi based his leadership upon. So, and Sagagi is now saying, okay, I've not been given a letter. Who will give you a letter? Nobody will give you any letter, because already you had prayers during under the so-called judgment of the retired Taiwo. And now Court of Appeal said, okay, all what Taiwo did in the first place, he had no jurisdiction even to entertain an internal matter. So they set aside that judgment. So I'm wondering if a very learned somebody like Sheikh Wada Sagagi will be talking like that.
Who do you think are actually protecting Sagagi? Because from all indications, the house is not in order. It's not one house in Kano. And this might likely affect your chances. You have less than 60 days to go to the polls.
Honestly, I can bet my life, honestly and very sincere, very objective. This is not going to affect our chances in PDP, because Sagagi has never been a member of PDP. Right from day one, when the former governor of Kano left the PDP, Sagagi has been there and whining with him.
You are referring to Concourse.
The issue is, if he wants to join NNPP, let him go and join NNPP. But he is not an active member of PDP. From March 2022, we had series of political activities in PDP. Which of the political activities did you ever see Sheikh Wada Sagagi participate in? And he's called himself as a member of PDP. Even if, okay, let's come to think of it, after the appeal court judgment that set aside his leadership, we extend hands of friendship. Why did he not participate? Why did he not come together? So if you see, this is somebody from Kano Municipal. Go and ask the people of Kano Municipal, so the people in PDP in Kano Municipal, ask him, who is he? Then you will know the value of his political value. So you see, the issue is, it's not about Sheikh Wada Sagagi, it's about PDP. PDP is a family in Kano State. Okay. We decided to stay in PDP and allow our former leader to go to join NNPP because we believe in the cause of PDP. Okay, we so much believe that PDP is the only party at this time that are meant to rescue Nigerians. Now, that's why we decided to stay.
Now, in the event, the court did not overturn what is on ground now. What will you do in terms of governorship election in Kano?
We'll wait for that time. When the time comes, then we'll tell you what to do. But for now, we are very positive and clear that by the will of God, inshallah, we are going to be victorious at the end of the day.
And are you really campaigning now for Atiku? And how acceptable is he in Kano? Because people are really looking towards other political parties. These are some of the feelers we are getting. I'm not saying it from here, but that because of the internal wrangling, there is this dwindling fortune of the PDP in Kano. Is that correct?
You see, we have only two dominant political parties in the history of Kano State. If you take back to First Republic, you realize that there is NPC and PRP, or NEPO, that time. Then during the Second Republic, we have NPN and PRP. Then we come to NRC, SDP, PDP, APP, or ANPP, or APC. You understand? Because it was APP, ANPP, ACN, metamorphosed into APC now. So we have PDP on one side, we have APC on the other side. Then all other political platforms, including the new formed NNPP, are struggling to have their roots on ground. You understand? So what we are seeing now, you see, despite all the internal wrangling and what have we, PDP is a family, is very strong in Kano State. And Atiku Abubakar, by the will of God, is going to emerge victorious at the end of the poll. Come February 25th, March, wait and see what will happen in Kano State, because the people of Kano are very clever. They are not like bandwagons where they are just moving into something that they are not very sure of. You understand? The candidature of NNPP is only more or less something else. While the candidature of APC, everybody knows what APC has done and is still doing to Nigerians. So how can you take your hands and put it into something that is quite very dirty? Even the water and soap that you are going to use to wash your hand is something else.
Yeah.
So that's why Nigerians, not only from Kano, all Nigerians now are now very ready and clear they are going to vote Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as their new president, because he is the only person more matured, more experienced, and of course that has the capacity to unite the entire federation of Nigeria.
But
so very much
people strongly believe that Kano is now maybe APC and then to some extent NNPP because of the Konkoso factor. So what are your chances, even though there is this belief that most of you are actually proteges of Konkoso? Now he has left you.
Thank you.
Yeah. As you rightly said. Now,
see,
where are you really actually basing your basket to get these votes for Atiku? Because Konkoso is also vying for the presidency under NNP.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Kano people are very, very clever.
Okay.
They are very, very clever in the sense that they know where they are going to put their votes.
Okay.
They are not going to put something into the basket where water will now wash it at the end of the day. Okay. They are going to use their vote effectively and very judiciously where it will matter. When
where
you go and put your vote,
is it Konkoso or
in something?
Okay.
No, I'm not mentioning anybody, but Nigerians and Kano people in particular are very aware. Okay. When you come to think of it, we have two dominant political platforms. The national political platforms are still PDP because they have government. PDP is the major opposition political platforms in Nigeria, cronies of this country.
Yeah.
If you now look at the other platforms, the new NNPP, the LP, and co and co and co, they are mere, you can call it a regional or state-based political platform. Even in Kano, we have a very distinct situation in Kano now. We have APC under the leadership of the incumbent governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, where he enjoys a certain number of percentage. Maybe you can call it 20, you can call it 30%, but to my understanding, it's not going to be more than 30-35%.
Okay, but there is this claim that
let me round up.
All right.
Then you have Konkoso on the other side, who happens to be a former governor of Kano State.
Yeah.
And I want to be very objectively. He also enjoy at least 20, 25, 30, but not more than 35%.
Okay.
You have Ibrahim Shekarov,
who
also a former governor of Kano State,
who recently defected to
and he
PDP.
Relatively 20, 25, quite very tight.
All right.
Will tell you, and I'm borrowing it, this year is going to be by a very slim margin.
Okay, it means,
and that's why, because of the antecedents of APC, listen, because of what APC has done to Nigerians and in particular to Kano under Abdullahi Ganduje, and because of the antecedents of Konkoso during his term, and now he's no longer there, is somebody that he wants to impose somebody on Kano people. So I believe the good people of Kano State are going to vote PDP because it's the only neutral platform in Kano.
But finally, people are saying even the candidate of APC, Aswaju Tinubu, will actually write on the achievements of Governor Ganduje in Kano under APC to get, significant number of the votes. Do you agree with this?
But I'm very sure, Nigerians are very hungry. Nigerians are not safe.
But Konkoso,
Nigerians are not happy. So if Nigerians are hungry, a hungry man is an angry man.
Yeah.
So if a hungry man is an angry man, I believe a very angry man will give his own treatment to APC come February 25th, 2023.
All right.
That's my judgment.
All right. Very interesting conversation, Dr. Suleiman Yusuf Dambata. He is the deputy gubernatorial candidate of PDP, together with Sadiq Wali, that were sacked by the court. But he assured that they will get it back. We wish you good luck. We thank you very much for your informed perspective. And this is where we come to the end of the program. All right.
I appreciate it.
Viewers, this is where we will wrap it up on today's edition of the program with Dr. Suleiman Yusuf Dambata, who joined us via Skype from Kano. We hope you enjoyed the program, and you will join us tomorrow for another interesting edition package. For now, I am Hamza Idris. Bye-bye.